invited President Obama to visit India. A very warm welcome awaits him, his gracious wife, and his 2 daughters. I thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to take one question each, one from an American journalist and one from an Indian journalist, and I'm going to call on Mark Knoller. Where's Mark? There you are. Good to see you, Mark.
Good to see you, sir. Mr. President, I suspect you don't want my colleagues and I to rely on leaks until next week. So I'd like to ask you about...
Why stop now?
Well, perhaps you'd like to help us set a new stage in our relationship by telling us where you stand on your decision on Afghanistan. You had what we were told was your final meeting last evening. Can you tell us how many more troops you'll be sending to Afghanistan, how you'll be paying for them, and whether you'll be announcing a timetable or exit strategy for them?
Mark, I will be making an announcement to the American people about how we intend to move forward. I will be doing so shortly. I think that the review that we've gone through has been comprehensive and extremely useful, and it's brought together my key military advisors, but also civilian advisors. I can tell you, as I've said before, that it is in our strategic interest, in our national security interest, to make sure that al-Qaeda and its extremist allies cannot operate effectively in those areas. We are going to dismantle and degrade their capabilities and ultimately dismantle and destroy their networks. And Afghanistan's stability is important to that process. I've also indicated that after 8 years, some of those years in which we did not have, I think, either the resources or the strategy to get the job done, it is my intention to finish the job. And I feel very confident that when the American people hear a clear rationale for what we're doing there and how we intend to achieve our goals, that they will be supportive. Now, I think it's worth mentioning, since I'm with the Prime Minister of India, that this is important not just to the United States, but it's important to the world. And that the whole world, I think, has a core security interest in making sure that the kind of extremism and violence that you've seen emanating from this region is tackled, confronted in a serious way. Now, we have to do it as part of a broader international community. And so one of the things I'm going to be discussing is the obligations of our international partners in this process. It's going to be very important to recognize that the Afghan people ultimately are going to have to provide for their own security. And so we'll be discussing that process whereby Afghan security forces are properly trained and equipped to do the job. And it's going to be important to recognize that in order for us to succeed there, you've got to have a comprehensive strategy that includes civilian and diplomatic efforts. So I think that's a sufficient preview to last until after Thanksgiving, Mark.
Tuesday evening, sir.
After Thanksgiving. And I'm sure that at that point, if there are further questions, that we'll be answering them to the satisfaction, not just of you, but to the satisfaction of the American people. Yeah?
Ms. Samita Prakash.
So my question to you, would you term India and the US as natural allies, especially in the sphere of combating terrorism in our region? Because there is a perception in India that the military aid that you give Pakistan is misused against India, and it is really the epicenter of terrorism. Did this issue come up in your discussions with the Prime Minister? And would you be pressurizing Pakistan to get its act in order? And to the Prime Minister, I'd like to ask, when is the nuclear deal really going to go on the road?
Well, first of all, I think that the United States and India are natural allies, not just around counterterrorism issues, but on a whole host of issues. As we discussed earlier, we're the world's two largest democracies. We have a range of shared values and ideals. We're both entrepreneurial societies. We're both multi-ethnic societies. We are societies that believe in human rights and core freedoms that are enshrined in our founding documents. And one of the things that I think makes us such strong allies is the people-to-people contact. You know, it's one thing for leaders to have exchanges like this one, and that's very important, obviously. But the incredible contributions that Indian Americans have made to the growth of our country and the degree to which they are woven into the very fabric of our society. The fact that very few Indians don't have some family member somewhere who has a connection to the United States. That kind of exchange strengthens and deepens the bonds between our two countries in a profound way. Now, with respect to security issues in the region, Prime Minister Singh and I had extensive discussions about that. I think we both recognize that our core goal is to achieve peace and security for all peoples in the region, not just one country or the other. And one of the things I admire most about Prime Minister Singh is that I think at his core he is a man of peace. Obviously, there are historic conflicts between India and Pakistan. It is not the place of the United States to try to, from the outside, resolve all those conflicts. On the other hand, we want to be encouraging of ways in which both India and Pakistan can feel secure and focus on the development of their own countries and their people. With respect to the relationship between the United States and Pakistan's military, I think that there have probably been times in the past in which we were so single-mindedly focused just on military assistance in Pakistan that we didn't think more broadly about how to encourage and develop the kinds of civil society in Pakistan that would make a difference in the lives of people day to day.